For those who don't know who I am, my name is Teacher Grant. I am an English teacher. I have been teaching English for over 10 years. However, I've been teaching for over 20. So I've been teaching a long time. I am 42 years old. I am from the States. I lived in China for a good 8 years. Went back to the States for about a year and a half. And now I'm currently living in Vietnam. And I'm teaching English online. It will specifically tell you when I'm available, so you'll be able to book it according to your time zone. So you'll see my availability. If there's a time that you would like to book that's not on there, please comment in one of my posts so I can reach out to you. Because I do have it enabled for paid practice because people abuse it and they just want a freebie out of me. So we're going to go through 10 myths and how to basically achieve your goals. Okay? All right. First of all, we're going to understand that myths are basically a common misconception. All right? They're a common misconception that create unnecessary barriers. Okay? So let's go for the first myth. Okay? And that is not true. Needing to live in an English-speaking country to become fluent is not true. Fluency can be achieved anywhere with the right resources. So digital tools and online communities make immersive learning possible from anywhere. Research shows learners who create deliberate immersion at home often outperform those who simply live abroad but don't actively exchange or engage in the language. So digital immersion, so change the device language to English, follow English content creators, and join online communities in your field of interest. Okay? Use language exchange platforms to basically practice with native speakers or fluent speakers from anywhere in the world. Okay? So establish your daily routines like listening to podcasts during your commute, reading the news in English, or even writing short journals that you're experiencing in your daily life. So using those tools will help you feel like you're learning in another country, guys, okay? Is watching movies without subtitles is the best way to learn. So that indeed is not 100% true. Again, it is helpful, but it should not be something mandated that you entail with your learning. It can be good to try, but again, it's not mandatory, if that makes sense. So these are myths adjacent to, like, these are not like, oh, you must or else, right? So without subtitles, learners miss vocabulary and cultural context. So strategic use of subtitles enhances your comprehension and vocabulary acquisition. The brain needs to connect spoken words with written forms to build strong natural pathways. So progressive subtitle approach, start with your native language subtitles, then English titles, and finally no subtitles as comprehension improves. Active viewing technique, pause to note new vocabulary, replay difficult segments, and summarize scenes in your own words. Also, content variety. Balance the entertainment with educational content. If you guys are saying true, then you are theoretically incorrect, because that is something that you should not always do, because there's complex vocabulary that need the context of your native tongue. Your native language is a valuable resource because research shows that bilingual thinking enhances cognitive flexibility and problem-solving skills. So the concept of translanguaging recognizes that bilinguals naturally draw on their full linguistic repertoire. Okay? So bilingual translation method. Understanding concepts in your native language first, then translate to English. Focus on meaning rather than word-for-word translation. Okay? Gradually language switching. Start with simple thoughts in English. Learning grammar rules first is essential. It is absolutely not essential. It is important to have some basics down, but it's not going to be like you must or else, right? Natural language acquisition happens through context and usage, not memorizing rules. The brain naturally detects patterns through exposure, a process called statistical learning. Grammar patterns emerge naturally through meaningful interaction. If one does, that is absolutely fabricated and false. Okay, you simply just need to be understood. Clear pronunciation and proper stress patterns matter more than accent perfection. Research shows that intelligibility principle suggests the goal should be clear communication, not native-like pronunciation. Focus on key sounds. Identify and practice sounds that are most affect comprehension in your native language. It's good to have clear pronunciation and being able to be understood compared to having an accent. All right. We're going to move on to myth number 6 now, guys. Expensive courses are always better than free resources. The reality is quality isn't determined by price. There are a lot of free resources that offer excellent content, and your motivation matters more than the cost of materials. The most effective learning happens when you're engaged and motivated. Are you a comedian? Maybe you are. All right, myth number 7 is just by memorizing vocabulary lists. All right, and that is indeed a myth. That is not true. You cannot learn English by just memorizing stuff. Memorization is not going to be the key to your success. So vocabulary retention improves dramatically and actively used. Research shows that the depth of processing, right? So the more mental effort you invest in learning a word, the more likely you are to remember it. Okay? All right, myth number 8. Okay, myth 8. You should avoid mistakes at all costs. Like, you should never make a mistake. That is absolutely fabricatedly false. It's false. Making mistakes is what makes you perfect. Mistakes are essential for language acquisition. Okay? Each error provides valuable feedback and accelerates learning when properly addressed. Research shows that the concept of noticing when you make a mistake and have it corrected, you're more likely to notice the correct form in the future. Okay? So, your error journal, track mistakes and corrections, review regularly to identify patterns, all right? And monitor improvement over time. Safe practice environment. So create low pressure situations for speaking. Join supportive groups where mistakes are welcome as a learning opportunity. Reframe mistakes as progress indicates. Focus on what you learned from each error and rather than the error itself. Okay?